Hello, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to our Growing Your Dental Business podcast. And today we are welcoming Danny Bobrow, who is the president of AIM Dental Marketing. He has helped practices grow since 1989. He is also the executive director of Climb for a Cause and the Smile Tree, as well as the founding executive committee chair for the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. He holds 2 MBAs, one from the University of Chicago's Graduate School of Business and one from KUI, which is in Belgium, which is pretty impressive. And Danny is a certified mediator and arbitrator for the Center for Conflict Resolution and Better Business Bureau. One thing I know about Danny is he lives outside of Chicago and he is a crazy good skier where he is part of the National Ski Patrol and an instructor with the Professional Ski Instructors Association. Welcome, Danny. It's so great to have you on our show.
It's my pleasure, Jacqueline. Thank you for the opportunity.
You are welcome. We asked you to join us today just to share a little bit about how you have helped your health partners overcome their practice growth challenges. So there are a lot of dentists out there and they are hoping to grow their practice. In your experience, what are some of the keys to success in dental marketing?
Well, I summarize it as 3 different key components. But before that, I want to thank and acknowledge you and eAssist for this opportunity. You've been a great partner. Love the work you do, and it actually dovetails nicely into the work that we do, as I'll explain. I'll explain it right now. The really way of looking at success is to take a broader view of the marketing process. It's not simply a matter of getting the phone to ring or getting somebody to your website. Those actions are necessary but insufficient to success. We like to say that the successful marketing plan takes AIM, and that is shorthand for 3 things that it needs to do. It needs to A, attract, I, impress, and M, motivate the dental consuming public. Another way to look at it is the keys to success are to generate a lead, basically get somebody to your website or get someone to call. It's then incumbent upon the team or the website to convert that lead into a patient appointment. Once they become a patient, success means maximizing patient value. And that really is the job largely of your team. We don't get involved very much in that, except to the extent that we do encourage practices to adopt a oral systemic practice model. The nice thing about maximizing patient value, Jacqueline, is that when you do that, it's 2 sides of the same coin. Whereas you're maximizing the value of the practice to the patient, you're simultaneously maximizing the value of the patient to the practice. Because when they're favorably impressed and they know that you care about them, they're that much more likely to accept treatment, especially elective procedures, which is what oral systemic health is a lot about, but not completely, because services like dental sleep medicine, et cetera, are covered by insurance. But basically, it sets the stage for success when you have a professionally implemented and executed marketing program, which then makes it that much simpler for your team to maximize patient value.
That's wonderful. You know, I've heard it often said that you are your best marketing material, the way you treat and act and take care of your patients. And it sounds like your goal is to be very relationship oriented when it comes to taking care of patients, which is what sells itself in the long run to retaining patients as well.
That's absolutely right. I mean, it's been said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and that people won't remember what you said or did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And so, you know, again, why this is such a nice partnership with eAssist is that your revenue cycle management tools and the fact that you advocate and help structure effective morning huddles dovetails so nicely into our offering, because our goal, getting the phone to ring is a relatively simple matter. Getting someone to your website is a relatively simple matter. We've been doing that. Well, we've been getting the phone to ring for 35 years. We've been getting people to websites for about 25 years because there weren't websites before then. Once they're there, you want to, again, just to repeat, you want to impress the heck out of them with your caring. And then once they're you've teed up the relationship, then people who make an appointment with somebody who has demonstrated caring, number one, they're far less likely to cancel their appointment because now they've made a commitment to a person, not to some unknown entity with whom they have no relationship. And then once they're in the practice, it's just a matter of continuing to deliver on the promises that you made during the initial contacts.
Well, I love that. I think it's cheaper to retain a patient than it is to try to acquire a new patient, correct?
Yes, and keeping a patient is synonymous with maximizing patient value. And we're all about that. I mean, sometimes people mistakenly think that somehow external marketing is in competition with internal marketing when nothing could be further from the truth. If you want to maximize the ROI on your external marketing, then maximize the ROI on your internal marketing, because then every new patient you generate is worth that much more to the practice.
Well, and not only that, they're going to be a lot more apt to talk about the practice, right? That's probably why they're worth more, because they're talking about who their dentist is and the experience they're experiencing. I mean, basically the experience they're having with their dental care professionals.
That's exactly right. Patient value is calculated by recare and visits, but also referral. And when you have a patient ambassador out there talking up the practice, extolling your virtues, you're going to benefit that much more.
So do you think these keys to success have changed over the years, or you've been in this a long time? So I'm wondering if you've seen any changes over the years when it comes to internal and external marketing.
At the level that we're talking right now, the answer would be no, in my opinion, because it's all relationship, as you correctly pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's changed is on the tactical level. 25 years ago, there weren't websites. So what did you have at your disposal? You had word of mouth, event management, cause marketing, which is still terribly underutilized in this industry, unfortunately, but is a tremendously powerful tool. And of course, the internet. So you've got tactical changes. Direct mail has made a resurgence because there's so much email being sent around that people are getting tired of it. And so, especially the older demographics, if they receive a direct mail piece, it's a refreshing change at this point for some people. Where 10 years ago, it's like, if I see another direct mail piece in my mailbox. The other thing about direct mail, just to go off on a little bit of detail there, is that our studies show that the cost per patient, the cost to generate a new patient, is higher with direct mail, but the return is also higher. And that's because the typical respondent to a direct mail piece is older, has more disposable income, and more dental needs. So that's sort of the winning trifecta there. And so otherwise, as I said, the fundamentals of marketing have not changed, but the tactical execution has, to be sure, and is ever changing. It's an extremely dynamic environment that we've chosen to be in. But I love it.
Yeah, you're right. I think you've hit it right on the head. And I love that. I kind of love that the snail mail, like those, what are they called? Value packs. A lot of times I get those value packs in my mailbox, and I always glance through them just to see what people are advertising around me. And I don't know if you know anything about Utah, but we have a dentist on every corner. So you have a lot of options here when it comes to dentistry. So I feel like the things you're teaching when it comes to relationships, taking care of patients, really making sure that patients feel comfortable in your practice, that's the key to keeping them coming back.
Well, we're not only committed to the full process, but we're also committed to accountability and transparency. So one thing I would like to make your viewers aware of is that we offer what's called the dental marketing dashboard that each one of our health partners, which is how we refer to our clients, receives. And that provides them with real-time access to see how many new patients they got from our efforts, which tactics generated how many patients, what was the cost per patient, how well are your team doing at converting the calls into appointments. That's what we call a team batting average. And that's something that we found to be a very significant, frankly, a bottleneck in the success of many marketing programs. And the dashboard also provides some, if you're a geek or a little nerdy, you can drill down as deep as you want to find out what Google Analytics is presenting, what the effectiveness of the various ad campaigns we're running is. And we like to use the acronym around here also, that it happens to be AIM, just so happens, which is Actionable Intelligence Marketing. And as you and I talked before we rolled the camera, that's a really important way to look at what we do and perhaps how we differ a little bit. We want to present data not through the rearview mirror. We want to show you opportunities to enhance the results and effectiveness of your marketing. And so during our monthly health partner checkup, we go into some detail, not only telling, but also listening, not just talking, but asking. What's new in your practice? What newsworthy event is taking place? And I'm always surprised at what kind of really bowls me over as something. This is a great piece of news, and if I hadn't have asked, I never would have known. So we do a little bit of probing with our health partners to try to get them to think about it. And, I understand it. They're busy and modest quite often, but keeping your good works a secret doesn't do you or your community a service. So we want to make sure that you're proud of what you do and are willing to share it.
Oh, I think that is fantastic. I think you just answered my next question, which was what sets you apart from other dental marketing companies? And I feel like your dashboard is huge. Your monthly, where you touch base monthly with these practitioners is huge. And I feel like you're really trying hard to get them to think outside of the box of ways that they can really benefit the dental community and the patients and draw people in to stand out with their competition.
We do.
Right.
And the one additional item I think that makes us stand out, and I know we talked about an offer, and that's our telephone skills coaching curriculum. I call TAFE for short. It's short for the Art of First Impressions. And we identified, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, that often getting the phone to ring is not sufficient. It's how well are the team, how well are they doing at converting calls into appointments? And sometimes people don't know that there's opportunity for improvement there, because the typical comment you'll get is, all our patients love us. And I have no doubt about that. The challenge comes in with a person who isn't yet your patient, someone who does not yet know you, like you, or trust you. For them, it's incumbent to acquire a new skill set, which gives you the ability to efficiently and effectively show the prospective patient, who again does not yet know you, like you, or trust you, that you are a caring professional who's got their back and has their best interests at heart. There are many, most of the people we work with are caring, or they wouldn't be in this profession to begin with. So what we offer is the ability to efficiently and effectively convey that caring quickly over the telephone to schedule a solid and kept appointment.
That's wonderful. Well, I know that you mentioned that this telephone skills mastery curriculum is an offer that you're offering to anyone who mentions that they listen to this podcast. You will offer that curriculum to a practice. It's a $495 value, which I feel like is I just feel like that's huge for a practice if they're struggling with telephone skills, with things that they want to train their team on, and what to say, what not to say, how to really get them on the books if someone calls in. I think that's huge. How can anyone get a hold of you, Danny, to
Sure.
kind of find out about this promotion?
And just to flesh out a little bit what we're talking about, this is the first of 4 phases of the Art of First Impressions. The first phase is 2 hours of conversation between myself and a colleague of mine, Bill Blatchford, who's been around the block for quite a while, and he's actually recently retired. But Bill and I talk a little bit about what are the essential keys to success with connecting with first-time telephone callers. We also have some recorded scenarios, actual real-time redacted recordings to illustrate the points we're making. And that's what we're offering. That's $495 typically, and I'm happy to offer that to anyone who expresses interest. And then we can talk about subsequent phases, which is mastery of the TAFE introduction, getting into specific objections, triad learning, and And then phase two, which is make the call, where we work with you on how to, if somebody leaves voicemail, or if you're dealing with some other opportunity to reach out to the public, to qualified prospective patients, we show you how to reach out. We also get into the insurance question, which is the bane of every team member's existence, which is, are you in my plan? And we have some very effective and powerful verbiage that you can use. What I'll just mention is that it's not just what you say, because people will often say, well, just give me the script. Or sometimes when people say, I hate scripts. Well, that's good for both of you because neither of them is possible. I mean, if I just gave you the words, it's not just what you say, it's when you say it and how you say it. It's also when you ask and when you listen. Questioning and listening is very much, is probably the most important component of effective sales of any kind. And I know people sometimes bristle at the word sales, but I like to remind them that sales is nothing more or less than communication with a purpose or empowering people to make an informed decision. We're all salespeople, whether we're willing to admit it or not, we're all in sales. But sales can be fun. And just like any other protocol in your practice, once you master it, it actually makes it less stressful, more enjoyable, more efficient, more profitable.
That's wonderful. I think that's a great dialogue to explain exactly how the steps work with your program and you know how you can really help dental professionals internally with their teams, with their patients, and overall just make it a big successful practice. So tell me the best way to get a hold of you, Danny.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Okay.
First, your original question. The easiest way to get a hold of us is to call our toll-free number, which isn't so important anymore, but it's 800-723-6523, or you can email me directly at dbobrow, that's DBOBROW, at aimdentalmarketing.com.
Perfect. And I love your acronym for AIM. I think that's a good way to remember who you are, who your company is, and the things that you are trying to accomplish when it comes to these dental professionals and helping them with their patients, not only to get new patients, but to retain their existing patients. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Do you have any like parting thoughts before we wrap up today?
Just that acronym is attract, impress, and motivate.
Nice.
And that we practice actionable intelligence marketing. I love what I do. I'm very gratified by working with health partners around the country. Many of them become my close friends. And if we work ourselves out of a job, that's okay with me. Plenty of people who need what we do. And we've been doing this since 1989, which makes us the most experienced dental marketing agency in the country. And we're just getting started. So I want to thank you again for the opportunity, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And thank to all your viewers for their time and attention today.
That's wonderful. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening to us today. I feel like Danny has shared some important information for you. And if you have thought at all about working with a dental marketing company who can help you not only gain new patients, but retain your existing patients, he is your guy. And thank you again.
Thank you, Jack.
Yep. We'll see you next time.